Alright, Schlockmeister fans, we're going to watch something from the 80s. This one's called The Midnight Hour. Let's check it out.
Look out, it's the midnight hour, baby!
It's Halloween in the city of Pitchfork Cove.
All right.
There's Dick Van Patten.
Your father, don't hold back. Go for it. Take chances. Live like there's no tomorrow.
His son is in high school.
Right, Mrs. Hodges?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a pre-Star Trek Next Generation LeVar Burton.
You just learn it, cuz. You'll get it. But they gotta look these people.
Without the visor.
In their eyes. The classic New England. Whittling by the stove at the country store, taking Gramps for a walk, and the old came from right here in Pitchford Cove. Or Pitchfork Cove, as it got to be known because of what happened. And this witch was Lucinda, Grenville's slave.
That's Sherry
and
Belafonte.
Great-grandmother of Melissa County.
Great. I know.
So the town has a history of witches and stuff, and all the kids are going to steal some costumes from the museum, harkening back to that witchcraft era.
I'd say I'd take it then. I know.
They find a scroll in the museum,
All Hallows Eve.
and for fun they decide to read from it.
Spirits of darkness, I command you to rise from your graves at lava beside.
Sounds just like the curse Lucinda let loose on this town exactly 300 years ago tonight. To set free the demons of hell, and to bring back the dead from the grave.
What have they done? That's Peter DeLuise, by the way, in the hat. Sure enough, they were in the cemetery when they were reading the stuff from that scroll. And our corpses are coming to life. We even have ourselves a midget corpse and a cheerleader. She still looks okay. There's Lucinda. Being that it's Halloween, our corpses, monsters, whatever you call them, they kind of fit right in. No one seems to pay them any mind.
I'm gonna bring them back. Well, I've got news for you, son. If you do get caught, I'm not gonna let you off.
His dad's a judge.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you good.
Well,
This
if
is
you're not doing
Mitch.
anything later, come on by.
And he's met Sandy, who's a corpse.
What's your name?
Phil.
My name's Sandy. Maybe I'll see you later, Phil.
I hope so.
I mean Phil, not Mitch. This is the judge, Peter DeLuise's father. He's gonna meet his death at the hands of one of these creatures. Halloween party, and again, our creatures fit right in. Nobody seems to notice. Will they notice Lucinda, though? Who is some sort of queen witch from back in the day. This guy's gonna be not so lucky also.
Where did you get it? Oh, it's been in my family for years.
No kidding.
I once had a dress very much like that.
That, of course, is her great-great-great-great-grandmother. I guess Lucinda is a vampire. Kind of incestuous, but she's gonna take her.
Love?
Remake?
The original was a lot more heavy.
There's been a lot of changes since Susan died. The malt shop is gone. Everything's different. Sherry Belafonte was bitten, but now she's a vampire. Now she's going after Vinny, her boyfriend, LeVar Burton. Sandy and Phil are making out in the car, and this guy comes creeping around.
It's alright.
But there is something to be afraid of. This thing appears to be a wolf man. Werewolf. But they get away from him.
Captain Jensen.
They tell the
This
cops
really
who don't
did
believe them, of
happen.
course.
Sure did. I got your report. Happy Halloween.
The bones of Grenville himself from his crypt at the cemetery will need his power.
His power? How do you know all this stuff?
She's got a plan to
All by
fix
midnight.
everything.
Midnight. Right.
Bill.
Here's the music video portion of our film.
Thanks, Mary.
The judge actually kills his son. I should say monster judge kills his son. I'm back at the party. Pretty much everyone is a monster now. She's biting everybody. Nonetheless, Phil and Sandy go back to the house.
Looking for us, Bill?
We're
They need the ring that was on Peter DeLuise's finger with a little bit of pancake syrup. They get it off. They get back to the cemetery. There's that werewolf guy who is now dead man. They get a hold of that parchment, that scroll. They burn some candle wax, melt it onto it. Get the ring. Their car is surrounded by tons of monsters. Sandy says, "I love you," and says goodbye to Phil. And then she disappears along with everybody else. It appears to work. But where did everybody go? Phil walked around and managed to find Sandy's grave.
Really wanted to make sure we got this right out right away. It's from Sandy to Phil.
And that's how our movie ends. Whatever happened to everybody else, who knows? Alright, let's talk about this movie called The Midnight Hour. It's a made-for-TV movie from 1985, I believe, starring Sherry Belafonte, LeVar Burton, who went on to do Star Trek Next Generation a year or two later. And who else is in this movie? I can't remember. Dick Van Patten has a small role in it. The father from that 70s show has a role as a cop in this movie. It's a movie that's fondly remembered by those who have seen it. It's about a bunch of kids. They're in high school, and they're in this town called, I think it was Pitchfork Cove, which had some problems years ago with like some sort of I don't know if it was witchcraft necessarily, but there was some evil stuff going on years ago, demons, that kind of thing. And that's the town's history. And in the museum, they have all these relics from that era, costumes and such. So the kids are going to have a Halloween costume or Halloween party, and they decide that they're going to go in, steal these costumes, and just wear them to the party. And they'll put them back the next day. So be it, right? Well, while they're in the museum, they find this parchment with some witchy stuff written on it. They start repeating it, and the next thing you know, what they do is raise the dead. They don't know at the time, but they find out soon enough. In the cemetery, all these evil people, monsters, this and that, they all come to life, and they start roaming the town of Pitchfork Cove. One of the women is named Lucinda. She was this super witch. She's like the 4 great-grandmothers of Sherry Belafonte. Well, the monsters end up going to this... some of the monsters end up at this party. They kill a few people. Lucinda's a vampire. She bites her great-granddaughter, turns her into a vampire. Before long, almost everybody in this town has basically turned into some sort of monster. The monsters are there too. There's also whatever spell they cast brought back tons of dead people, including this dead cheerleader who died in 1959, I think, named Sandy. She's very nice, and she ends up liking this guy from modern times. They kind of figure it out, piece it together, what exactly happened there, and they also figure out what they have to do to change everything back, which they're able to do. They melt some candle wax on this parchment again, say a few things, and put this ring on it. Next thing you know, all the monsters disappear, and that's kind of how it ends. I don't know exactly if some of the people who were affected by this were cured. Did they go back to their normal selves? Because they just all disappeared, and then they were gone, and we never see what happens next. The movie just kind of ends about a minute later. How about that? I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Wolfman Jack, his voice appears in this movie. He's the radio DJ. And you know what else? There's a lot of songs in this movie, like known songs, Little Red Riding Hood, In the Midnight Hour, a lot of actually classic, like 50s songs, maybe early 60s as well. It's probably why this movie hasn't gotten another DVD release since Anchor Bay put this out many years ago. This DVD is actually pretty sought after. There are some ridiculous prices for this thing on eBay right now. I think I saw one for $200, one for $300. Just crazy. Don't pay that much for this. You can actually buy a PAL DVD of this from overseas for about $25. That's a lot better than paying as much as you want for the Anchor Bay one. It's kind of cool to have the Anchor Bay one, but man, $300 is a lot to pay for a DVD, right? Maybe somebody else will release this at some point down the road, but I suspect music rights are holding it up if that's going to be the case. But anyway, it's called The Midnight Hour. I think a lot of people have seen this. Let me know what you think about it. It's a pretty cool movie, actually, and I highly recommend it. Track it down, find it, and watch it, and leave some comments down below. We'll discuss it. The Midnight Hour. Watch it. Bye.